Hello, everyone. I bet you can guess who I'm dressed as right away. Not, not too subtle. Okay, so the Weston game. We are at the coffee shop, and the players are discussing if they want to share their clues. Seidel Pulaski raised her hand. What about the clues that are in the will itself? Yes, I think we'd all appreciate having a copy of the will, Miss Pulaski, Theo replied. Well, equal shares doesn't seem quite fair, since I'm the only one here who thought to take notes. Seidel turned to the group. One penciled eyebrow arched high over her red sequined spectacles. So spectacles are glasses. Her self-congratulatory pose was too much for Mr. Who. Grunting loudly, he squeezed out of the booth and slapped the shorthand pad on the counter. Thief! The secretary shouted, nearly toppling off her stool as she grabbed her notebook. Thief! I didn't steal your notebook, the indignant Who explained. I found it in a table at my restaurant this morning. You can believe me or not, I don't really care, because these notes you so selfishly dangled under our noses are completely worthless. My partner knows shorthand, and she says your shorthand is nothing but senseless scrawls. Gibberish. Pure gibberish, Grace Winsler Wexler added. Those are standard shorthand symbols, all right, but they don't translate into words. Thief, Seidel cried, now accusing Mrs. Wexler. Thief, larcen, felon. Don't, Seidel, Angela said softly, her eyes set on the D she was embroidering. You wouldn't understand, Angela. You don't know what it's like to be a... Her voice broke. Seidel paused, then lashed out at her enemies, all of them. Who cares a fig about Seidel Pulaski? Nobody, that's who. I'm no fool, you know. I knew I couldn't trust any one of you. You can't read my shorthand because I wrote in Polish. Polish? When the meeting again was called to order, Mr. Who suggested they offer Miss Pulaski a slightly larger share of the inheritance in exchange for a transcript of the will in English. However, I repeat, neither my partner nor I stole the notes, and if anybody here suspects us of murder, forget it. We both have airtight alibis. Doug choked on his sweet roll. If it got around to alibis, they'd find out where he was on the night of the murder. On the Westinghouse lawn. Mr. Who went on, and to prove our innocence, my partner and I agree to share our clues. 1 minute, Mr. Who, Judge Ford stood. It was her time to speak before the matters got out of hand. Let me remind you, all of you, that a person is innocent until proven guilty. We are free to choose whether or not to share our clues without implication of guilt. So here's the lawyer talking. I suggest we postpone any decision until we have given the matter complete thought. And until time that all the heirs can attend. However, since we are assembled, I have a question for the group. Perhaps others do too. They all had questions for the group. Wary of giving away any game plans, the heirs decided that the questions would be written out, but no names were to be signed. Doug collected the scraps of paper and handed them to Theo. Is anyone here? So they all wrote their questions on pieces of paper. So they don't know who's asking it, but we can probably figure out who's asking it. So let's try to figure it out. The first question is anyone here a twin? He read. Who do you think that is? That's right, Angela and Pulaski. No one answered. Second, what is Turtle's real name? I don't know who wrote that one. Doug Who was planning another nasty sign. Tabitha Ruth, replied Mrs. Wexler, with a bewildered look on Flora Bombeck, who said, Alice. Well, which is it? It's Tabitha Ruth Wexler. I should know. I'm her mother. Doug changed his mind about the sign. He couldn't spell Tabitha Ruth. Theo unfolded the next question. How many here have actually met Sam Westing? Grace Wexler raised her hand, then lowered it, then raised it halfway, then lowered again, torn between the claim as Sam's relative and being accused of murder. Mr. Who, an honest man, held his hand up and kept it up. He was the only one. Judge Ford didn't think it was necessary to respond to her own question. So that was Judge Ford's question, which means she has met Sam Westing. So only Sam, Judge Ford, Mr. Who, and maybe Grace has met Sam. Theo recognized the sprawling handwriting of the next question. Who got kicked last week? Chris didn't receive an answer. The meeting was adjourned due to panic. And then the next chapter is called The First Bomb. That'll be tomorrow. They're all in the coffee shop right now. So where do you think the first bomb was?